I'm Charlie McCardle. So first on Wednesday's programme, with 1 in 4 pregnancies ending in loss, a Jersey mother is encouraging others to speak openly about grief and reach out for help. Lauren Callahan's daughter was stillborn last year, a deeply traumatic experience for her and her family. She's now joining other local parents and the baby loss charity Phillips Footprints to mark Baby Loss Awareness Week. Gemma Daubeny reports.
Anyone that's going through it, don't be lonely, because it can be an incredibly lonely time, and use the resources that are available to support you through whatever your grief journey looks like and what you need at that time.
Lauren's 21-week-old daughter Aoife was stillborn last year. She and more than 500 other children are remembered by their families with a box of keepsakes from Phillips Footprints.
They provided things like Christmas decorations and, bracelets for her and books for my other children that in that moment I didn't realise how important they would be, or you don't think about all of those things, and they were able to fill that void to then take those memories forward.
Lauren is also one of 90 women who's been supported by hospital counsellor and trauma therapist Karina.
The emotions that you go through until you're in the shoes of somebody, until you're living it, you can read about. And previously, I'd read about it, and you hear about it, but it can be an incredibly lonely time. And having the support that we had with Karina and Phillips Footprints is something I know myself and my family will be forever grateful for.
But not everyone knows help is out there, and there's some concern that discussing baby loss is still taboo.
It's a very difficult subject for many people. Even within partnerships, it's difficult sometimes to talk about it. So what we're here to do this week is to remind people that it's good to talk. Those emotions, those feelings, it's good to understand them and sometimes to share them.
Sometimes when people come in, they can't even speak, so sometimes the first hour is literally just feeling those emotions, and it's about making sure that everyone knows that that's okay. There's no expectation when you come into a therapeutic setting. So many women do go through loss, and everyone deserves that support, everyone deserves that space.
It affects so many people, and it is incredibly lonely, and you need to talk about it to help and support people around you.
To encourage conversation, Phillips Footprints has joined the UK-wide Baby Loss Awareness Week, lighting up landmarks and offering bereavement training to health professionals. And tonight, as the Awareness Week ends, people in Jersey will burn candles in a global wave of light, remembering children like Aoife, who died too soon. Gemma Daubeny, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
Yeah, Lauren Callahan there sharing the story about the loss of her baby daughter. Now, if you or someone you know has been affected by miscarriage or baby loss, you can find some organisations that may be able to help. All you've got to do is head to bbc.co.uk/actionline. Let's turn to some other news. And politicians in Guernsey say plans to upgrade Alderney Airport are moving forward and remain a priority. The state say the runway still needs to be designed and more technical work is needed before they can hire contractors. A policy letter is due by the end of the year, aiming to speed up the process. A recent £500,000 project patched the existing runway. A Guernsey lawyer says a better understanding of the law could help reduce accidental benefit fraud, as new plans may increase the maximum sentence from 6 months to 7 years. Although the number of convictions isn't rising, the Employment and Social Security Committee wants to introduce harsher punishments for benefit fraud to bring Guernsey in line with Jersey and England. Some lawyers support the proposal but say the law must be simple enough for people to understand.
A failure to update Social Security of any material change of circumstance, including address, change of job, change in receiving other benefits, those factors, if they're not disclosed to Social Security, it's not just the case that your benefits might be stopped, but that you're actually capable of being liable for a criminal offence.
Well, you're tuned to the BBC in the Channel Islands. Good to have your company this evening if you've just joined us. Still to come on our programme tonight, we're going to take a trip down Avenue Q. But right now, let's look at a few other stories that have been making the news today. And Guernsey's government has apologised after wrongly labelling a genuine email address as a scam. Officials initially warned the public about income@gov.gg, but later admitted a rushed judgment. They thanked islanders for helping clarify their mistake. Jersey is launching a network of safe places where people feeling vulnerable or intimidated can seek refuge and feel welcome. The government is inviting places such as banks, cafes, parish halls and sports clubs to join the scheme, offering trained staff to provide necessary support. People in Alderney and Jersey may get test alerts during a safety drill at the Flamanville nuclear power plant tomorrow. The sirens, broadcasts and messages sent to those within 12.5 miles of the French facility will be marked as tests, and the authorities say no actions needed. And Jersey's Environment Minister wants to change the rules so king scallops are 3 millimetres bigger before they can be caught. It's to help keep stocks healthy. Boats have been catching more scallops in recent years, landing more than 1,000 tonnes last year. Now, to a story with a happy ending, although it was far from guaranteed. Now, when Guernsey mum Katie Thomas realised her toddler had tossed her engagement ring into a bin bag, she feared it was lost forever. She's now thanking the staff at Guernsey Waste who searched through rubbish sacks by hand at the tip, eventually finding the ring. There it is. Parisha Cattell has the story.
Katie thought her ring would never be recovered from a skip like this, but the detective skills of the team at Guernsey Waste meant that her diamond in distress was saved.
Lucky that bin hadn't been touched for the couple of days in between her getting in contact with us. It's very strange because we usually empty these bins about once or twice a day, but luckily enough for her, the fates were in her favour.
I still never knew if the rings were in the bag or not until we actually searched through it, so I was still in doubt as to whether they were still at home or whether they were in the bag, because we still didn't know 100%, but said it just made me feel sick because I was like, there is no way that we're ever going to get them back if they've gone in that bag. So I thought, they're gone. When I found it, my husband was there, my mum and my sister, and I just pulled it out of the bag and I was like, oh my God, my rings are here. And I actually felt sick again. I wanted to cry, but I didn't know whether I was happy or just like overwhelmed that we actually found them. I just almost couldn't believe it still, even though I had them. And then I started calling back the Guernsey Waste just to let them know that we'd got them.
It's safe to say that Katie will be keeping an extra close eye on her ring.
Not taking them off. And if I do have to take them off, my husband's told me that they have to go in a locked box and then be stored somewhere that I know that they are definitely safe there.
Quite have been traumatised by that. Thankfully, a happy ending. Right, let's bring you some sports news. And Guernsey FC men pulled off an astonishing comeback, beating Shoreham 7-6 in the Southern Combination Premier Division. Now, the Green Lions had been trailing 5-1 in the first half. Goals from Govine, Murray and Dupont helped turn the tide, with Ross Allen setting up the dramatic winner. The thriller is now the highest scoring match in the club's history. Meanwhile, in the Isthmian League South East, Jersey Bulls men conceded a late equaliser as they drew 2-2 with high-flying Three Bridges. The point sees the Jersey club drop to 15th place in the division, having won 2 and drawn 5 of their 8 matches. Well, next tonight, a sporting star and charity champion, the rugby legend Kevin Sinfield, he's in Jersey, where he invited people to join him for a charity fun run at the St Helier waterfront. This is in support of motor neurone disease. It's a cause close to his heart after his former teammate Rob Burrow was diagnosed and sadly later died with the incurable illness. Kevin's fundraising efforts have inspired thousands and raised millions, and this afternoon Islanders had the chance to run alongside him.
Just the general sporting community really pulls together, especially when it comes to raising money. So many people are getting diagnosed with MND that you don't hear about. So just creating the awareness is huge, and the fact that we had so many people down here today running and supporting will create that awareness that it needs.
Yeah, great to see so many people out there supporting that great cause. Now, we'll have your weather forecast from Dan Downs in just a moment or two, but with many of us, well, I suppose we grew up with Sesame Street. Do you remember watching it? But this week, its cheekier grown-up cousin is taking to the stage in Jersey. It's called Avenue Q, and it's a puppet-packed musical comedy exploring adult life, including dating and work. The Jersey-born puppeteer Andy Heath, who's worked with some of the biggest names in entertainment, including Disney and Star Wars, returned home to bring the characters to life. And we sent our reporter, sort of, to meet them.
Hello, this is Emma Jane Blackman from BBC Channel Islands, Jersey, and today...
Monster.
What?
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just want to be famous.
But you are going to be famous. You're going to be on the TV, you're going to be on the radio, and on the internet.
The internet? Oh, I know a great song about that. The internet is for
Looking at it from the outside in, you see the puppets and you could be mistaken for thinking this is a show for children, but that's not the case, is
No,
it?
that's not the case. It's not for kids. It addresses a lot of taboo issues, so definitely for the age of 16 and above.
If you want to be famous, you need to have some skills. So what kind of skills do you have? Do you sing?
No.
Everything's been patterned from scratch, so you make little maquettes out of plasticine to give you an idea of the shape, and then you work out the pattern you're going to construct it from. So these are made from foam. That's Nikki's, a different shape puppet up there. So you construct it out of foam, and then you figure out the fabrics, and you dye all the fabrics for the colours you want.
Okay, do you dance?
Not really.
So I can sort of give an idea of where it should be looking and how it looks, and you know how it sort of stays alive and lip syncs and gestures with his hands and all that kind of stuff. But unless you've got a good understanding of acting behind it as well, it could fall quite flat.
What about juggling fire?
Oh, no, too hairy, no. Flammable body.
With this sort of age of CG and AI at the moment, it's nice to have something you can touch and actually move and interact with in person.
Emma Jane Blackman, can I try be a newsreader?
Of course you can. Why don't you say bye to everyone?
Okay. This is Trekkie Monster from BBC Channel Islands, Jersey.
Well done.
Ah, thank you. Have you got a boyfriend?
Can have my job anytime. Right, here is our Weather Watcher star of the day. Paul takes centre stage with this stunning picture. But what is the weather like over the next couple of days? Let's find out. Here is Dan Downs with your weather forecast this evening.
Hello Charlie, good evening. Yes, there's been quite a lot of cloud around today. Sunshine at a premium and a few showers too. Tomorrow I think we'll see a bit more in the way of sunshine. It should be a bit drier for most of us. Still varying amounts of cloud generally, particularly early on, but brightening up with sunshine into the afternoon and a mainly dry day, perhaps one or two showers around in the morning. We've still got high pressure up to the north of us, centred right over the UK. It's not really moving far still for a couple more days, but weather fronts out to the west will finally get towards us later in the weekend. So here's Friday's picture. That high pressure still there, just starting to drift its way eastwards through Saturday and allowing those fronts in for Sunday. But the view from above, still a few showers just coming down through the English Channel, mainly clipping Alderney, some across Sark and Guernsey, one or two just coming a little bit further south towards Jersey. But overnight with a lot of cloud, it is staying relatively mild, temperatures around 12 Celsius. Maybe an isolated shower first thing tomorrow. They're tending to peter out though during the morning. A lot of cloud initially, but breaking up more into the afternoon, with some sunny spells developing a bit more widely. And temperatures tomorrow around 15 or 16 Celsius. The winds fairly brisk at times, coming in from a predominantly easterly direction, with high water through the early hours, and then again early tomorrow afternoon between 2 and 3 o'clock. Coastal waters forecast, those winds still coming in from the northeast or the east, 3 or 4, mainly fair weather with generally good visibility. So the high pressure still there into Friday, but we should see more in the way of sunshine developing on Friday and lasting into Saturday too. A bit more of a breeze still coming in from the east. Weather front starting to move in overnight Saturday into Sunday though, so expect it to be cloudier, a bit damp starting out on Sunday with some outbreaks of rain, and then the general outlook for next week is for it to be rather blustery at times with a mix of sunshine and some showers, Charlie.
Yeah, it looks like things are all changing next week. Well, that's almost it. Now, before we go, just to let you know, we have got some problems, which means I won't be back with you tonight for our late bulletin sitting here on the sofa. But the good news is that our colleagues at Spotlight will be including some stories from the Channel Islands in the bulletin. Of course, you'll be able to see that tonight here on BBC One at 10:30. Bye-bye.